it just seems like when you make a deal with the devil that the Cubs win the World Series, you'll get out of coaching. And then what do? They go out and win it. And then so I say that just because there's just a lot of things I would like to do today. And so bear with me. First of all, I'd like to thank God for the blessings that He's given me to be able to work here at Bethel College and to coach the incredible people that I've been able to coach, these young men, and have had the opportunity for them to make an impact on my life. But with that said, I'd also just think that, you know, it's been a great run of 30 years at Bethel and 9 years of Mishawaka Marion. So I've been coaching now for 39 years, and it's just been just an incredible honor. I'd like to thank the media. Because I say that because for many of you, it seems like we grew in our professions at the same time. A lot of you are guys and that have been here for a long time and in the community, and I've just been so thankful for the opportunity to work with all of you. I love you guys to death. I'd also like to recognize two people that aren't here, John Parent and Dave Slater, who made an impact on our athletic department and did a great job for Bethel basketball over the years when no one wanted to write about us. Okay, so I got to start with some thank yous. I want to thank Jackie for her unbelievable sacrifices she's made for 39 years of being a coach's wife. I've been thinking about that a lot. She's never experienced anything other than being a coach's wife. And, you know, there's been times that we've made incredible sacrifices as a family. I think our 25th anniversary, we painted the gym. On our 5th and 10th anniversaries, we sanded the floor. All the thousands and thousands of cookies that she has made, and all the prayers and all the games that she's attended, and you know, we said a long time ago that we would do this as a team, and we have. And so, thank you. That's a hard one. Get that one out of the way. And all the 80-hour work weeks. Yeah, I might. I'd like to talk about my sons, Robbie and Ryan. You know, they also have been invested in this because their dad has been gone a lot. And I can honestly say that I made it to every one of your games I could and didn't miss things. And I have no regrets because of that. You guys are awesome. I have two incredible sons that I've been able to see grow up here at Bethel. And, you know, we had the opportunity to do something that I don't know if any other coach in the country has ever been able to do, was to cut down the nets. A championship team with my sons. Very few dads get to experience that. I'd also like to thank my wonderful daughter-in-laws, Justine and Brittany, who we said if we ever messed up with those sons, we would keep them and let our boys go. We've done a great job. Sorry. I'd like to thank my family. A lot of them are here. I've got a lot of good ones. My dad is not with us, but he is a great fan. My mom, who is here, that has never seen a good referee game in all the years that we've played. There's never been a good one. And they've also been great parents, grandparents, because it took a lot to raise the Lightfoot Village. The area coaches that I've been able to be involved in. I love our area coaches so much. And I've been able to transition from the days of Dave Hadaway and George Griffith and Bob Berger and Jim Hahn, Jim Miller, Marvin Wood. All those guys were here when I started. And I've been able to transition in the community with those guys and then see all the young coaches. And, you know, over 40 of them are guys that have played here at Bethel College, and so I'm really blessed with that. Next to my family, the coaches that impacted me. Steve Longfellow was my high school coach. Tom Firestone, I see, is here today. Homer Drew, that I just got off the phone with. have made an incredible impact as mentors in my life. If I look at this also, I see, so many people that Dennis Embrecht, he's here. I can't look at him right now, but 30 years ago, he took a young coach and took a chance on me. Norman Bridges had a tremendous impact on my life here. One of our former presidents, seeing the vision that I was able to be a part of as athletic director, where we won 20 national championships in our program during those 18 years that I was blessed to be the athletic director. Steve Kramer for his continued support and just being a great listening ear and a great friendship. Darren Dot Wycamp and the Gates family for this facility that we have that is second to none. My motto over the years has been the wider the base, the higher the pyramid. And I think that we're successful because we have a wide base. And I want to thank my assistant coaches that have been with me over the 30 years that have done incredible things for me and made it possible. I'd like to thank my current staff that is here as well. Tony Natale is back there. He's been with me 19 years. What an incredible opportunity to be working with him. And then with Ryan and Alex and Ryan Binkley, who have been with me. And we're going to make this one of the best years as we close out this year. But I know that in success of life, you only can be as good as the people you have around you. And I've had blessed with incredible coaches. And I'd like to thank the coaches' wives who sacrificed too to be away and spending so much time away from home and away from their families so we can do the things we've been able to do. But last but not least, and I'll close with this, that I'm really blessed with coaches, the people that I've been able to coach, and blessed is so much to coach these guys. I don't deserve it. I always will be, I'm not going to be the coach anymore at Bethel, but I always will be their coach. And I love them. I love all of them. Life is about relationships. It is about relationships. We need to grasp onto that in our society today. But life is all about relationships. And I hope I've impacted my players as much as they've impacted me over the years. Okay, so thank you, Bethel College. Thank you, faculty and staff. I love you guys. I love our alumni. I love our media. And I love our fantastic students. I love this community. I was born and raised here. I plan to stay here. And again, I don't know what the future holds, but I do know who holds the future, and God holds the future for me. So I'm stepping down from coaching, but I'm not retiring. I believe that you work for an outcome, not for an income. And so I got to pay bills, a lot of coal bills.
I want to say something about the income.
Yeah. I'll be passing out resumes after this. God gives purpose, and purpose gives meaning, and meaning gives significance and hope. So I want to close with this statement before I answer any questions. I believe my motto has been commit yourself to excellence in all that you do. God allows us to do that. So excellence is as a result of caring more than you often think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible. And this is the place that I've seen amazing miracles happen, and I'm so blessed to be able to be a part of the Bethel community. Thank you. If you have any questions, why now? Al, you would have to ask that question. That is a great question, but I think at 30 years it comes to a part in your life where you think, I don't want to coast into the end of my career. I don't want to be a person that, it just kind of rides it out and says, okay, I'm finished, but I'm just going to finish till I retire officially. I've seen that happen in people and professions, and I felt like that's not something that I want to do. I think I can still make an impact and do a lot of things for a lot of people, but it's just not going to be in basketball. So there are times, that I didn't like basketball. The transitioning to the recruiting all the time, and every weekend during the summer, if I'm home by my pond, I feel like I should be out watching somebody play. So there's a part of that. And, I think I've got wise advice from a lot of people that have helped me through this process. And I just felt God was saying, okay, it's all right. I'm at peace with it. And so it took a period of time for that to happen. But I finally got to that point where I'm okay with not being the basketball coach. My identity is not in that alone. And I need to move on to things that I don't know what God's got planned yet.
Coach, what do you think your legacy is going to be?
Oh, wow. I hope my legacy is something where I've tried to impact players' lives. I think 18 to 22 is the most critical time in someone's life. And so hopefully I've had an opportunity to impact their lives in a positive way. So they have impacted their churches, their communities. Many of them went into coaching, so they've now have the opportunity to impact others' lives. So maybe that coaching tree that I've been able to establish is going to be part of the things that I'm going to remember. But I'm not going to remember the national championships, all this stuff, but I will never forget the relationships that I've been able to build with the players here. Not only players, but faculty and staff and so many people here that mean so much to me that those are the things that I want to be remembered for, and doing it the right way. I think we did it the right way.
At what point did you come to that fulcrum where you said, okay, it's not really?
That's a real, it was actually, I had talked to Tom a couple times, and Jackie and I had been talking about it, but it really wasn't until just recently, during the kind of the Thanksgiving break, where I kind of had a chance. We didn't play that weekend. I had a chance to really spend a lot of time in prayer and just a lot of thought about, okay, is this the time? And so I think the Monday after Thanksgiving, I went in and talked to Tom and said, I think, Tom, it's time to start the process going and start thinking more about what the next direction is going to be. And it also allowed me to have some closure on that process.
Didn't have anything to do with getting robbed in Miami.
Yeah, that is a chapter that'll be written in the book. Yeah, we got robbed twice, one on the court and one on the vans too. So, and the court one was more painful, I think, for our players. But we've had some incredible stories over the 30 years, and that one probably tops it.
I heard a story from Pete Smith. When he was being recruited here, you had just graduated.
From Bethel, yeah.
And you were out of the program and everything, and Coach Drew had you show him around and had Jackie cook him dinner.
Yeah.
But what made you? You didn't have to do that. You had nothing else. You didn't have a dog in that fight, know. But what made?
But I did, because I loved Homer Drew so much. He's been an incredible mentor for me. But the situation was that Pete Smith wanted to come, and Bill Odell was his friend, and they were two very good players. And so Homer always taught us that we needed to replace us. So Homer said, one of the things that you need to do as a player, as you graduate, you need to find quality people that can come in here and represent the program after you leave. And that's what we really strive to do. And Pete Smith has become one of the state's best basketball coaches and a great alumnus at Bethel College.
You say you don't know what the future holds, but what would you like to do?
That's a great question. I think I want Jackie to work full-time, and I'm just going to stay home. But she said no to that. I really don't know yet. I think that, in time, I don't want to really reflect on that yet. I want to just focus on this year and this time. But I really have no idea. I think it's wide open in that area. One thing that happened, though, that when we first started getting into coaching, Homer Drew sat me down. Well, I actually set both of us down, Janet, and they really instructed us what it's going to be like to be a coach's wife and a coach. And we modeled, really, the Drew plan. Ironically, they had two sons. I have two sons. Ironically, those sons went into that athletics, and we know what the Drew plan has been. So it's been a really good pattern to follow. But they told us the good and the bad of what it's really going to be like to be a coach. And there is a lot of tough things for coaches. To be at a profession for 39 years and at one spot for 30 is really unique. It's such a blessing because coaches get burnt out. And, there's so many things that they can get hit with. So Homer really instructed us at that time, and Janet, what it is to be a coach's wife, hear negative things from the stands, to be invested as a family, to be invested as a couple, and making sure that you're doing everything you can to minister to these guys. And I think we've done it.
What did Homer say today?
Oh, he prayed with me. He prayed with me. That's that's the thing that I've always counted on him to be there for me, and I've always tried to model that for my players. I really enjoy spending time with my players, my former players. I want to know what's going on in their life. It's a blessing for me to see the success that they've had, and think that maybe something I said before practice, made sense to them. Maybe there was something that we did that they could take a nugget from. So with that said, I just really am blessed to be able to do that. So, when you talk about what's next, there is a calling for me to, even whatever I do, is to help mentor coaches. I really think that there's a high risk in this profession of divorce. There's a high risk of a lot of issues that come about because of coaches. And so, no matter what I do, one of the things I want to be involved in is mentoring coaches, because it's a very difficult challenge. And it's getting tougher. It's not easier, it's tougher. And so if I can help them, I've been doing that with a lot of local coaches for years, and it's been great, and I want to continue to do that, because I think I'm a few strides ahead of them in this career path.
Mike, how much are you going to cherish the next couple of months still being the coach?
What am I going to cherish? Every day at practice, being with these guys. Every day. That's it. And we talked about this. Yesterday was the toughest thing I had to do, was to tell my team. And it's been incredible, because this group has overcome so much adversity with injuries and so many setbacks. And this is the closest group of players I've ever had. And this is, so I'm so close to them. And so I'm just going to cherish being with them. And I think that's the relationships, again, going back to just cherishing every day we have. There are no tomorrows. Nobody here can guarantee me that you're going to be alive tomorrow. So we got to cherish the relationships we have. And so this is just one of those things that every day is one of my last. Every day. There's no replacing this day for any of us. So every day is your last day. And so I'm going to cherish that opportunity to coach these young men and work with them and make them the best. And you know what? I'll be satisfied for that. People say, how many wins you got? Oh, it doesn't matter. That has never mattered to me. What matters to me is, are guys working hard? They're doing the right things? Are they graduating? Those are the things that have really mattered to me. And winning has just been a blessing to that.
Coach, you talk about the next play with your players. You had to coach yourself up a little bit with that?
Well, yeah, I think that I think earlier this year I outwrote about, I really questioned, you have to get re-pumped up every year for every game, for every season, and that's just a process of coach. I think you get to the point in anybody's career, you have to re-gear, retool. And, I got some great advice from a lot of people, but Coach Krzyzewski said you got to reinvent yourself. You got to do things. You got to make sure that you're finding energy in different ways, and you have to do that in a profession. You have to find new ways to do things, and so that's the secret of being successful in any business or anything, is reinvent, retool, change the mindset, do all those type of things that makes it fun. Because if it's not fun, then why are we doing what we do? That becomes work, and I don't want to do that.
When you walked into Goodman 30 years ago, could you ever imagine that, I'm going to spend the next 30 years doing this?
I didn't think the next year, I went down as the first coach in Bethel history to lose their first 2 games. And John Parent asked me, he said, Coach, how'd you sleep after knowing that you were the first coach in Bethel history to lose your first 2 games? I said, I slept like a baby, cried every 2 hours. And so it didn't start out well. And for those people that knew what it was like at Marion in my first couple of years, it didn't start out there very well at all either. So, that's the process. You got to be faithful. You got to walk in steps of faith. And no, 30 years ago, would we be thinking that? It was going to be a short-term thing to bigger, better, thinking that, I was going to be somewhere, and those things changed. And for many of you know that when I lost my sister, I became somebody who's going to stay home, and I was going to raise not only my 2 sons, but helping the 2 nieces too.
Coach, you've always talked about how wins are not the measuring stick that you go by, but how does it feel to have won over 700 games like you have and be the fastest in the NAAE to get to like 100 wins, 200, 300, all those accomplishments?
That just means I have a lot of good people, because I've never scored a point. You know, you do. You have a lot of great people to be around. And anytime you're successful in anything you do, be it a student, be it a faculty member, be it a business person, you got to have great people around you. So I've just been blessed to be in a spot where I've had great people around me that have allowed me to do what I do. And yeah, I'm demanding. I work them hard. I teach them discipline. Those guys get tired of my voice. But at the same time, I love them to death. And I think when you invest in that, you're successful. And wins and losses take care of themselves.
Going back to when you made the decision.
These people got to get back to work.
But you said you made the decision, started talking with Tom around Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
You could have sat on this until after the season.
Yeah, I could have.
Because you wanted rocking chairs at St. Francis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably it. I was thinking I was going to get, a tour out of this. The big thing I really wanted to make sure was that if I did this and made this, pulled the trigger, that I would be the one in control of telling my team. I didn't want it to come out some way down middle of the season that, oh, hey, we hear a rumor that coach is getting out or whatever. I didn't want that to happen, Chuck. I wanted it to come from me. I love our guys so much that I wanted to have, even though it was painful, I wanted to have that moment with them so it wouldn't be coming from someone else. And so that was kind of I wanted to do it that way. I mean, I've been blessed to be able to do things, the way that I wanted to see it done. And that was one for sure.
What will you miss the most?
Won't be the bus rides. It's going to be really hard. I'm going to miss those players' times when they come up in the office and coach, I'm struggling with this. Coach, I need advice here. It's going to be before practice. Being able to sit them down and talk to them every day about things that I think are important in life. And just the day-to-day contact. I'm going to still be involved in their lives. That's not going to change. But the daily things sometimes are just not going to be the same. But they don't get a free pass from me that they're thinking that, man, he's out of my life now. I don't have to worry about that. I've gotten an email or a phone call from every player that I had my very first year here 30 years ago, today or yesterday. So they don't get a free pass. I'm going to still be involved in their life, but it will be tough. Again, thanks so much, and I'll turn it back over. Tom, you're right there. All right, thank you.